what's going on YouTube? So today I'm going to showcase my endgame Magicka Necromancer build, updated for the Necrom DLC patch. This build is capable of pulling over 120k on the parse dummy and is viable and tailored for most group content. This is a parse build, meaning we are pushing for optimum DPS on the parse dummy, and as with all endgame builds, it will be a group focused build that revolves around using trial or best in slot gear, so it's not a beginner or solo friendly build. Furthermore, please use these builds as a baseline, as different situations and scenarios will benefit different gear sets and skills. With that being said, here we go. So starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in a Magicka, and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For the race, we're a high elf because I think high elves have some of the best passives for Magicka DPS. For the food, you have a few different options. So for the parse, I did use green food because our sustain is pretty on point and we don't need any sustain from our food. For content though, you can run something like Clockwork Citrus Fillet. A cheaper and almost a good alternative would be Witchmother's Potion Brew. For the potions, because we don't have access to Major Prophecy, we do get Major Sorcery from Degeneration, but because we're missing Major Prophecy, we're going to just opt to use Spell Power Potions. Keep in mind that these do cost a bit to make, so make sure you have 3 points from medicinal use from the Alchemy skill line to benefit from the full duration of the potion. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Exploiter, Biting, Thaumaturge, and Wrathful Strikes. Feel free to swap out Exploiter for crit damage CP, especially in content if you need more crit damage. Fighting Finesse and Backstabber are your two options. And for the red tree, we're running the standard Siphoning Spells, Rejuve, Fortified, and Balanced Vitality. So for the gear, we're going to be running 5 pieces of Reliquant on the front bar, 5 pieces of Pillar Nern on the back bar with a Zon monster set, and Harpooners. So breaking down in the main hand, we have a Reliquant Dagger, Nern Node with the Flame Damage enchant, and the offhand Pillar Nern Dagger charged with the Poison Damage. On the back bar, we're running a Pillar Nern Greatsword infused with the Weapon Damage enchant. For the head and shoulders, we're running 2 pieces of Zons, both in medium, Divines with Max Mag. For 4 pieces of the body, we're running Reliquant, all traded in Divines with Max Mag enchants. And as usual, Harpooners, Divines, Max Mag. And for the jewelry, 3 pieces of Pillar Nern, all Bloodthirsty with Weapon and Spell Damage enchants. So for the skills, we're running Stalking Blastbones. Cast this every 3rd skill, unless you're farther away, then it's going to be every 4th skill. Boneyard is a really strong dot, does consume a corpse and gives you a synergy. Try to proc the synergy on your front bar. Trap for Minor Force, does good damage and also procs a ton of hemorrhaging. Detonating Siphon, this is going to be our pseudo spammable, meaning every time we get a corpse we can use this, and it does explosion damage when you do cast it, so you can use this as a pseudo spammable. Deadly Cloak, our dot from the dual wield skill line, does good damage. Flawless Dawnbreaker is our ult on the front bar, mostly slotted here for the passive benefits from the Fighters Guild tree. On the back bar, we're running Stampede, really strong dot. On top of that, it is a guaranteed crit. Carve, so try to keep 3 stacks of this up. It does good bleed damage. Degen, another dot that we have. Scalding Rune, another dot, and this is our pseudo spammable for our back bar when we need to swap bars to proc Pillar, and all of our dots are not yet ready to be recasted. Skeletal Archer, this is another corpse generating skill. This archer does ramp up in damage, so try not to recast it too early. And Shooting Star, this is the ult we're going to be using. Really good damage, but does require the target to be stationary. So for the rotation, we're running a dynamic rotation, meaning we're just going to be reapplying our dots as soon as they fall off. So the tempo of the build is going to be using Blast Bones and then 2 skills after, and then going back to Blast Bones. So the skill priority in which you should keep your dots going is Carve, Stampede, Boneyard, Trap, Detonating, Archer, Cloak, Scalding, and Degen. And then when you don't have anything better to cast, your pseudo spammable is going to be Detonating Siphon. And then if you do need to go on your back bar to proc Pillar every 10 seconds, then Scalding Rune can also work as a pseudo spammable. Furthermore, just use Shooting Star when it's ready. So just a few quick tips. Try to use Boneyard Synergy on your front bar, so either after bar swap or during any front bar skill cast. But be careful, Deadly Cloak does lag it out a bit, so next, try to time your Meteor, Blast Bones, and Scalding to detonate on your front bar, meaning if you cast those, just watch for the explosion tick and try to time it on your front bar. And lastly, when you use Boneyard, it will consume a corpse, so try not to use Siphon after unless you're sure that you have another available corpse. So for the rotation, we chose to do a DoT-cro because I think DoT-cro rotations parse higher. You can drop Degen on the back bar and then move Boneyard to the back bar so that you can slot in a spammable. Either the skulls or even something like Silver Shards would work just fine. I did try out Black Rose Prison Daggers on the back bar, but I noticed it was a DPS loss, so I chose not to do that. I really wanted to avoid using two-hander if possible, but Carve and Stampede, 2 dots, just make it worth it on the Necro. Just very quickly, some alternative gear sets. You can run something like Sororia or Bosse, or even Whirl if you need a light armor set. Back Alley Gourmand is also a good set as well. For melee armor sets, you can run a different proc set like Pillar, Aegis Collar, or Venomous Smite. Just be careful with Aegis Collar because you do need martial melee damage, meaning you do need dagger or two-hander. And another good set you can run would probably be something like Rune Carver. And I think that wraps it up. As always, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or better yet, come join our Discord. Link is in the description. I will have a written guide linked in the description for those who would prefer that instead. And as always, thank you to my YouTube members. If you want to help me support my content creation, please consider becoming a member. And as always, thanks again, and see you in the next one.